Ever looked up at the cosmos, all those glittering pinpricks, and wondered what it'd actually be like if humanity wasn't just, stuck here?
Yeah, like really out there, setting up shop, dealing with aliens, maybe even weird physics.
Exactly. What kind of everyday problems or just plain weirdness would that bring?
Mm.
Well, you tuned into the right place. Welcome to the deep dive. We're digging into a potential future today, using Larry Niven's Tales of Known Space as our guide.
Niven, classic stuff. Even though those stories are from what, the mid 60s, 65 to 68?
That's right. Way back. But they paint this incredibly vivid picture, human colonies scattered everywhere, bizarre aliens, really advanced tech.
It's like a shortcut to imagining interstellar life, the good and the bad.
Totally. And these tales, they're the early days of his bigger known space universe. So our mission for this deep dive,
Let me guess. Pull out the really cool, thought-provoking bits, the stuff that makes you go, huh?
you got it. The challenges, the
Mm.
quirks, the aha moments about life way out there.
Okay, I'm in. Where do we start? The first steps.
Yeah, let's jump in. So the first big push into space, it wasn't about finding like paradise planets.
No, definitely not Earth 2.0. You look at the names of the first colonies: Jinx, Wonderland.
We made it plateau down
Mm-hmm.
by 2100 AD or so.
Right. None of those scream beachfront property.
It tells you straight off, doesn't it? Early colonization wasn't easy pickings. It was adaptation, making do.
Brutal, probably. And were these the only options, or were they chosen for, like, resources? The stories hint it was just what was reachable, maybe?
Good question. It implies the hurdles weren't just tech, but strategy, logistics,
Mm-hmm.
right from the get-go.
Makes sense. And it wasn't just weird planets, right? They pushed out into our own solar system, too.
Yeah, out into the Saw cometary halo, the Oort cloud, basically. Sounds pretty frontier-like itself.
And that's where things got complicated.
Uh-huh. Ran into packed scout ships, and maybe more importantly, the Xenti.
Ah, the Kazinti. Fierce, cat-like aliens. Not exactly a friendly first contact, as I recall.
Not at all. That led to the First Mandiz War. Imagine expecting, peaceful exploration and running smack into that. A rude awakening.
Yeah, it really grounds the universe.
Hey,
It's not all Star Trek handshakes. Interspecies relations can be tense, competitive,
definitely subverts the peaceful aliens trope sometimes.
and coping with these places. You mentioned Jinx earlier. High gravity, right.
Seems like it. There's this mention of the Institute of Knowledge on Jinx tailoring something called booster spice.
Booster spice sounds intriguing, like a drug or a supplement.
Yeah, the name implies some kind of biological tweak, chemical help to deal with the heavy gravity.
Which opens up a whole can of worms, doesn't it? Bioforming humans, not just terraforming planets.
Exactly. Are we still human if we start adapting ourselves that much? It hints at divergent evolution almost.
You have to wonder about the ethics, though the early stories don't really dive deep into that side of it. Did everyone take it? Any side effects?
Unclear from these early tales, but the idea is there. Okay, so travel. How did they get between stars initially?
Well, they developed safe ram scoop technology, boostered ramjets.
Right, scooping up interstellar hydrogen for fuel, like a giant space vacuum cleaner.
Kind of made interstellar trips feasible, not just generational ships. But then,
Then came the Puppeteers.
ah, yes, the Pearson's Puppeteers, those super cautious three-legged aliens with the two heads.
The very same. Philosophical cowards, Niven calls them. But technologically, way ahead.
They developed the quantum-to-second hyperdrive, faster than light travel.
Which basically made those cool ram scoops instantly obsolete, right?
Pretty much, FTL changes the whole scale of the galaxy. Suddenly, Jinx isn't months or years away, it's much closer. Trade, communication, war. Everything speeds up.
Shrinks the cosmos. But things were changing back on Earth, too, in some weird ways.
Oh, like what?
They mentioned birthright lotteries, which apparently over time led to something called the Tela Brown gene.
A luck gene, right. The idea that you could inherit Statistical good fortune.
Yeah, the lotteries subtly favored certain traits, and eventually, bam, people who are just born lucky. What does that even do to a society?
It's fascinating. And ethically murky. Again, genetic stratification based on luck. Wild. It foreshadows later Niven stuff, for sure.
And oh, it gets darker. The organ bank problem.
Uh-oh. With advanced medicine comes advanced problems.
Seems so. Organ transplants became common, but it led to a huge black market. Organ legging.
Stealing organs. Grim.
It got so bad the solution was drastic. Freezer bills for storage and execution for transplant.
Wait, execution for transplant. So capital punishment basically meant your organs got harvested.
Looks like it. Made jails obsolete, the stories say. You just went into cold storage until someone needed a part.
Wow. That is a chilling solution. A really stark look at technology outpacing ethics, maybe? The value of life versus utility.
Definitely makes you think. Dark corner of that future.
And these themes, like adaptation, they keep popping up, right? Not just the booster spice.
Yeah, the very fact that humans are living on all these different worlds suggests they'd change over time. Natural selection, maybe.
Or just the constant pressure of different environments. It implies humanity isn't going to stay uniform as it spreads out.
Okay, let's talk aliens properly.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first contact on Earth itself is just bizarre.
Not the Gazinti this time.
Nope. It was a sea statue dug up, which then
Revived. A statue. An alien statue.
Apparently, millennia old. Imagine digging that up on your beach holiday. What's the protocol for that?
Huh. Good question. It throws this huge question mark over Earth's own history, doesn't it? Ancient visitors we never knew about.
Exactly. Sets a tone of mystery. The galaxy's older and weirder than we thought.
And then, back to the Zinti. We know the war happened, but the reason it kicked off.
Wasn't there something about their telepaths?
Yes. Their telepaths scanned humanity and reported back that humans were completely peaceful. Harmless herbivores, basically.
Seriously, talk about a failure of intelligence gathering. Right. It shows how fundamentally alien minds can be. Misunderstandings on a catastrophic scale. Imagine the Kzinti commander getting that report and then, oops.
It's a great example of the dangers of assumptions when dealing with the truly unknown. Different perceptions, different values.
Then you've got the Puppeteers again. We mentioned their tech, but their whole attitude? Philosophical cowards.
It's such a great phrase. Terrified of risk, incredibly cautious, yet they hold galaxy-changing tech like hyperdrive and gravity generators.
It's a paradox, isn't it?
Yeah.
Super powerful, but they'd rather run away or manipulate things from behind the scenes than fight.
They're a unique force in known space, shaping events by not getting directly involved often. Their caution is almost as influential as their tech.
And we get hints of others too, right? Just names, mostly, in these early stories.
Yeah, mentions of the Grogs, the Cadetlino, the Pack.
It paints a picture of a crowded galaxy. Humanity's the newcomer in a very old, diverse neighborhood.
Adds scope. We're just one piece of a much bigger puzzle out there.
Now, space itself, it's not always friendly, even without aliens shooting at you. There's this mystery of ships just disappearing.
Vanishing, like
Poof. Yeah. At first, they think pirates?
Yeah.
Maybe. But there's no wreckage. Nothing.
That's creepy. So what was it?
Leads to this idea of ship eaters. And the eventual reveal involves a singularity generator.
A miniature black hole generator. Used as a weapon or just lost tech?
Seems like it could just swallow ships whole.
Yeah.
Definitely want good insurance out there. Or just avoid certain sectors.
Adds that cosmic horror element. Unknown dangers lurking in the void.
Yeah.
You can have all the tech you want, but space can still just get you.
And even closer to home, our solar system has its own strangeness. Pluto, for instance.
Cold, right. Really cold.
So cold you get superfluid helium the second, which does all sorts of weird physics things. And they apparently found some kind of beast there.
A beast. On Pluto in superfluid helium.
That's the implication. It just highlights how extreme environments can get and maybe what kind of life could adapt, even in our own system.
Challenges our whole definition of life, potentially. We're so Earth biased.
Oh, and there's Mars. We know it's thin atmosphere, nitrogen dioxide. Not pleasant.
But the mystery there is older, right? The Martians.
Exactly. They find these ancient crematorium wells made of diamond blocks, and the Martians themselves, gone, vanished.
Diamond crematoriums, why? What happened to them? It's this haunting puzzle.
Yeah, a whole lost civilization with these bizarre customs leaves you wondering, a silent warning, maybe.
A reminder that civilizations rise and fall, even advanced ones. Sobering.
And danger wasn't just out there. Even on Earth, things weren't perfect. They mentioned free parks.
Lawless zones, like Mad Max, but maybe with better tech.
Sort of implies that, yeah. Places where ingenuity and maybe flexible ethics were key to survival. Human nature doesn't just disappear with fancy tech.
The wild side persists. Shows that governing a sprawling space civilization is complex. You'll always have fringes, conflicts.
So how did people themselves change? We touched on booster spice, but physically.
Well, the Jinxians, again, described as short and wide, adapted to their high gravity.
A clear example of environment shaping biology over time. Humans on different worlds wouldn't look identical after a few generations.
Shows evolution potentially happening on human timescales once we spread out. Fascinating.
And tech helped bridge the gaps, obviously. Gravity generators in hotels on Sirius Mater to make it feel like Earth gravity.
Right. And floating contour couches for travel sounds comfy, if a bit weird.
Like a fancy waterbed in space. Shows the effort to make alien environments tolerable, even comfortable.
Then you have the Belters, asteroid miners.
Ah, yeah, the people living in the belt, they had their own quirks.
Supposedly they used minimal gestures because space is tight on mining ships. You don't want to be waving your arms around and knock into something vital or
Someone. It's a small detail, but it says so much about their life. Cramped, careful. Environment shaping culture, even body language.
Exactly. Shows adaptation on multiple levels. Physical, cultural, behavioral.
And just for a bit of fun, amidst all the danger in philosophy, robot waiters in L.A.
L.A. Los Angeles.
Presumably. And apparently the robots weren't quite perfect. Led to some chaos.
Huh. So even in the future, you might get your drink spilled by a malfunctioning server bot.
Nice touch of realism, isn't it? Advanced tech doesn't mean flawless execution. There are still glitches, still slightly rubbish robots.
Keeps it grounded.
So wrapping this up, these early known space stories, they give us this picture of humanity pushing out fast and ambitious, but into a galaxy that's definitely not tailor-made for us.
No, it's full of challenges. Tough planets, dangerous tech, confusing aliens, cosmic mysteries.
And humanity adapts physically, chemically, technologically, culturally, sometimes gracefully, sometimes awkwardly, like with the robot waiters.
It's a future that feels wondrous, but also messy and full of unexpected problems, not just pew-pew lasers.
Yeah, way more nuanced than simple space adventure.
Hang on.
Considering all this stuff, the adaptations, the weird tech side effects like organ liking, the alien misunderstandings, what do you, listening right now, think would be the biggest shock? The hardest adjustment to living in a real interstellar civilization?
Ooh, good question. Or maybe, which of these Niven ideas, the booster spice, the luck gene, the ship eaters, feels like it has the most resonance, like something we might actually grapple with if we go out there?
Definitely food for thought next time you're looking up at the stars.
Yeah.
And seriously, if this sparked your interest, grab Niven's Tales of Known Space.
Yeah, it's a fantastic journey. It really makes you think about what humanity even means once we leave the cradle.